He was the huge guy with this big
Put springs on her blades or you
shorts like who?
Call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to roll call.
Snellings.
Present.
Ferris.
Here.
Barons.
Here.
Keating.
Present.
Bikeman.
Here.
Schrader.
Present.
Garacki.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. We'll now ask for approval of the minutes for our regular meeting, April 14th, 2025.
Move to approve regular meeting minutes of April 14th, 2025 as written.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next section, we'll move on to public comments. Comments in this portion of the meeting will be held to a maximum for 5 minutes for people that aren't scheduled to be on the agenda. I'll ask for that first.
Hello, my name is Michael Pilsel. I am here to report back that I have started construction on my Eagle project. So far, I have completed the prep work for the base of the building and plan to pour the concrete in the next following weeks. Are there any questions?
Running into any issues yet?
Not yet.
Good. Gonna have room for everything?
Hopefully it stays that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your report.
Hello, my name is Audrey Pilsel. I'm here tonight as in my role of assistant manager at the pool under Courtney. Sorry, wrong piece of paper on top, 1 second. We just wanted to kind of give an update. Courtney has hired 25 guards so far this season, and she's working still to fill the concession and admissions portion. In addition to staffing, we're reviewing the uniform policy, which I know is on the agenda for tonight. Also wanted to let you know on Friday we did a walkthrough. Courtney and I and Tony, Josh was out of town, so unable to attend. But the focus of the walkthrough was the ongoing water flow issue that we've had the last few years. So we inspected the plumbing components, the pump overall. Over the past year, they've inspected the plumbing, they overhauled the pump, they isolated the problem and figured out that the problem seems to be in the sand filtration system, right? So when you open up the sand filtration system, there's obviously sand in it. But in the one that's currently open, there is a layer of sand mixed with solid chlorine that's, I mean, it's solid, right? It is a solid. If you dig under it, you can find the sand and stuff. But that has clogged the filters, right? This is due to incorrect use of the chemicals prior to 2024. So, within 2024, last year, we really worked to identify the issues. The way to correct the sand filter issue, because that's the problem right now, is to get that sand clean. So Tony has spoken with the people down at Manhattan Energy. He has a product that he can put into the sand filters that is supposed to clean the sand. We're hoping that will work.
That includes getting the chlorine out of there?
That will break it all up, allow it to circulate, okay? If that doesn't work, then we have to replace the sand. But Manhattan Energy is pretty confident that using these chemicals that they've given us, we should be able to get that sand cleaned up so that we can extend the life of it. Pool filter sand is not like I can run down to Hall Brothers and get sand, right? It's really fine and thus expensive. So we're really hoping that will fix the problem. Once we get the flow fixed, it fixes everything else. Okay, so there aren't problems, the pump is working, the heater's working, everything's working once we can get water going through it with enough pressure. Any questions for me?
In a pool this size, like, I've installed pools and messed with pool filters, like,
Sure.
Residential stuff. They have a lever you move and it like backwashes the system. Is that something that this can happen here?
Absolutely, yeah, and we backwash our system. The problem is with the mismanagement of the pool chemicals in the past, that solid is not allowing that sand to do what it's supposed to do. And so the sand right now is dirty. I stuck my hand in it, it's dirty. But if we can break that sand up, start to backwash on a regular basis and have those filters turn over, the water will be cleaner, the chemicals will be more efficient. It will just, by fixing these filters, it will fix a lot of the other problems we've had, right?
Okay.
Nemo will have flow to it. The little whatever we call them in the zero entry.
sprayers.
Yeah, they will have more flow to them instead of being, just little. So flow is the main issue, and once we fix that, we think it'll just trickle down to everything else.
Can't they just get layers solid out of there?
They can't. Because the thing, not without, from what I understand and by looking at it, it is a solid piece, right? So they would have to remove all of the bolts all around it, replace the gaskets.
Okay.
I mean, so that's why Manhattan Energy is like, let's clean it. I really think this is gonna work to clean it. And then we wait and see. So, I know Tony said within 2 weeks, he plans on getting some water in the pool. And so once we do that, then we wait and we see and.
So just for the public, once they put the chemicals in, are we hoping this will fix the scaled up chlorine before opening day then?
Absolutely,
Perfect.
yeah, it should break it up. If for some reason it doesn't, and it's like it was last year, we know how to compensate with the chemicals, and we will know that end of season, that sand is something that's gonna have to be R&R'd. But we're really hoping that the TSP does its work and gets it cleaned up, so.
So you have no backup plan in place yet if this chemical doesn't work?
Well,
I mean, have you talked about a backup plan yet?
We worked all last year with the filters being the way they are now. So, it's because it's not backwashing correctly and because it's not filtering correctly, it will cost more in chemicals like it did last year. But we can still run the pool, the chemicals will be balanced as they were all last year. It's just not as efficient. So getting those sand filters working is going to fix a lot of the problems down the line.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks for the.
Thank you.
Audrey.
Thank you, Audrey. So are there any other unscheduled comments for the council? If not, we'll move on to scheduled requests. They'll be allotted 15 minutes prior to making comments. Please state the following: first, last name, and your address and ward. First, we'll move into the Marysville Library Report. Mandy Cook.
So obviously Mandy is not here. She's unable to make it due to another scheduled event. She just asked that if the council has any questions, please reach out to her. If you guys have anything like programs that you are hoping the library adds, please reach out to her and she'll try to evaluate that to see if it makes sense. Okay. Otherwise, read the report and you'll be able to tell what she's going to talk about.
And now we'll move on to the Youth Advisory Committee, Josie Knopf.
Hello, my name is Josie Knopf from Home City. I am a freshman at Marysville High School. I am a part of the Youth Advisory Council, and we had our very first meeting last week, and we had some very good first discussions. At our very first meeting, we talked about slowing the highway outside of the high school down to 20 miles an hour. We want to see if we can reach back out and see if the rules there have changed. We also want to lower the cost of the pool to get in, because if people don't want to pay for a whole pool pass, like if they're only wanting to go once or twice a summer, or if they're babysitting, it can add up. And then we also talked about how we could involve the youth in the committee. And then we also talked about how seeing the committee show up for all of our events, like sports, concerts, performances, as well as club events, means a lot, because we're seeing them support us. And then the need for recreational activities around town was also discussed. And there were a lot of specific ideas during this meeting, which was a roundtable discussion. I would be happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
And who were you saying you wish to show up at your meeting?
Just the community in general, because it means a lot when they're showing up for us.
And where are you holding your meetings?
In here.
Perfect.
So this group is still trying to figure out the direction that they're going to go in, whether they're forming it exactly like the council does, so like call to order, pledge allegiance, approval of minutes, public comment, that type of stuff, or if they're just going straight into their business items. They're also still needing to elect a president of the committee and a secretary, so then they'll start taking their own minutes. We'll get those up on the website, so that way people know what is going on at each of these meetings, what they have passed and recommended on to council, and what they have just discussed in general.
So can we get copies of those minutes in our packets once they start doing them?
I mean, we can provide them, or we can email them out separately. So far, the meetings will just be once a month. And this group is pretty lucky because not only are they starting the group and really figuring out the direction that it's heading, they also are they're going to be serving longer than any other group after them, because they are starting now and continuing until next June, whereas each group after that will go from June to June.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
When's your next meeting,
Yep.
Josie?
Next month, the 12th, I think.
It'll be May 12th before the council meeting
At what time?
At
at
what
6,
time?
I believe.
6 o'clock.
Got it.
And that's open to...
Yep, it's open to the public.
Yep. I'm good.
You're good.
Thank you,
Good job.
Josie.
Thank
Good
you.
We will now move on to business and discussion items. First off, we have the Poppy Run Walk request from the American Legion Auxiliary and Jennifer Taphorn.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Jennifer Taphorn, representing the American Legion Auxiliary. And I did a presentation last council meeting, and then I presented my documents for review for this meeting. Does anybody have any questions for me?
So we need to approve the
Move to approve the request.
Second.
There's a motion made and a second on the floor. Any other further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining from that vote.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing we have is a Food Truck Friday and Brown Bag Bites.
Bites.
I had to take my glasses off. One Marysville, Wayne Cruzy.
Good evening, Council. Wayne Cruzy with One Marysville, bringing forth an idea we have to start, per your approval, in about a month. This concept has come up in all four of One Marysville's committees in different ways. So Economic Vitality has been talking about ways we can support our local restaurants, and certainly other committees like promotions. You hear about all the frenzy with food trucks and how different towns are really rallying around them. But we're like, well, why don't we put these two ideas together? There's a way to bring in some food trucks, and there's a way at the same time to make sure we're emphasizing and supporting our local restaurants. So if you look at that space somewhat behind the One Marysville office, we feel there's room there to activate that space, have some food trucks parked there. We've got our portable picnic tables that we could put up there. I've talked to some of the restaurants already to say, hey, would you do a brown bag special on Fridays? Some of our restaurants already do that, and so we could help increase that publicity so people are aware of that. And then in that area, It could be the place to be on a Friday. So, overall, we're sending a message. Marysville's always the place to be, but certainly in this case, Fridays, come to Marysville, hang out, eat. It gives people another chance to interact with one another. I mean, in my mind, eventually we could add some other features to that area, but we can cross that bridge in a couple months.
So is it just going to be one food truck at a time? Or
Great question. We're thinking 3. We're thinking like 2 traditional food and then a dessert.
I see you want to charge a $10 fee for electricity. A lot of them using the Masonic Lodge, if they provide their own electricity via generator, which is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
You still only had to put a fee on them then?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them like to be able to hook up.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so we thought that way the city is not providing power for them.
Is that a standard location that's on the approved city sites for food trucks?
I would have to re-look at it. I believe it was on it.
It's got to be 150
I think that's why
feet
Will
from
has
the
me
back.
in front of you tonight, though.
Yeah.
To make sure you're approving it.
Yeah. And so that way it becomes more of a city-sponsored event too.
Yeah.
I like the brown bag special for the restaurants.
Yeah,
That
same
way
here.
they get involved too.
Mhm.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
There's been a motion made and a second to approve the request for the Food Truck Friday and brown bag bites. Right.
There's the soundbite for Candy. Why?
Is there any further discussion?
I do have one more question I forgot to ask. How will you select the food trucks? Will it be by appointment only, or do you make a selection of food trucks?
Yeah, I reached out to all of who I consider our locals and said, hey, are you interested? And most of them replied and said, yeah, we're interested. Tell us more. And so now if you approve this, I'll be able to go back and it'll probably be on a first come, first served basis, Chris. Say, hey, here are the dates we're doing this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there any further discussion?
Unless you want it to be the one to interview them or taste them. We could have put that in there, right?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side.
You know.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you, council.
Thanks,
Wayne.
Fine.
Next on our business and discussion items, the Aquatic Center staff dress code policy change. Ms. Fizzle is going to talk about that.
Sure. So I know you guys have gotten the reviewed policy change. We're just trying to make sure that all of our guards and staff are comfortable in what they're wearing. So that's really the bottom line of it, is to make it something that they're comfortable doing. So that's why the policy has the changes in it that it does. So if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer it, but it seems to me in reading the policy, it was pretty straightforward. So.
Can
Why?
you just kind of explain what the old policy, or what were the main changes from the old policy to the new policy?
So the main change is that the guard can choose an appropriate suit, but they can choose their own suit instead of just having one set suit. One set suit doesn't allow for different bodies. The suit they had last year doesn't even come in my size. So, I mean, there's that. I'll throw myself on that grenade, but.
Is that like a brand you're talking about?
In the past years, the city has chosen a suit. And so it's a brand, it's a style, it's everything inclusive, right? And what we are saying is we would like guards to pick their own suits so that it's something that they are comfortable in. You have taller, long torsoed girls, and if they're in a one-piece suit, then it's more revealing than if they were in a two-piece suit.
Sure.
That's cut, a lifeguard cut two-piece suit. So we have boys who would like to, wear a rash guard when they're on the stand. We have women who would like to wear a rash guard on the stand. So just to kind of make it not quite as restrictive.
Perfect.
My only concern is we've been there, done that. We went to two-piece suits several years ago, and it turned into a big deal. And if you go to a beach and there's a lifeguard there, they're in a one-piece suit.
That's not 100% true, I'm sorry.
Every beach I've been to, they've been in a one-piece suit.
It's that they are not all in one-piece suits. Two-piece suits, honestly, I wear two-piece suits, not in the way that you guys think of a two-piece suit, but if I need to go to the bathroom in the middle of my shift, it's a lot easier if I have a two-piece suit on. It's quicker.
I think Seneca uses two-piece.
Seneca uses two-piece suits, has for years. We're not talking about, you know, two-piece suits that are a Brazilian cut. We're talking about a lifeguard cut two-piece suit.
And that's the way it was supposed to be a few years back. and
We're
that's
also under
not-
new management.
Well, I know that, but I just know what happened then, and I just can't approve it. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I know Kevin was here when that happened.
It's a fiasco.
Yeah, it was a fiasco, so.
But they still have the option to use a two-piece.
Absolutely, one piece or two-piece, you know, shorts on top of their suit, a lifeguard, rash guard, whatever they are comfortable in.
So in the past, when we had two-piece suits, so I mean, what
Everybody had
was
to
it?
wear 'em.
What was it?
Were there restrictions to the two-piece suits? or
Yes, there was supposed to be, yes.
A bikini or?
That's what they ended up with. But that's,
I think it said in the,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. We had that restriction in the last time, and that's not the way it happened.
I guess then it goes back to management, like Audrey's trying to
right.
point out, and us sticking to the policy. If we are specifically saying athletic style swimsuits, which we are, then we mean athletic style swimsuits. and
Really not comparing apples to apples.
Right, so as,
I mean, most of the lifeguard swimsuits for women that are two-piece are like a sports bra type top and a brief type bottom. I'm not putting them in a string bikini. I'm not trying to get them as much of a tan as they can possibly get while they're there. It is a sports top. It is a brief bottom. It's just as simple to guard in and more comfortable for a lot than that one piece that ends up riding up.
so
One
if
thing
someone
this-
does come with a non-regulated suit, what is the fix for that? Is there punishment? Are they relieved for the day? How are we gonna, you know, make this stick?
Right. I would, so I'm thinking off the top of my head, but I would say we could either have them have a towel around their waist if it's a problem with the cut of the back of the suit, have them wear a towel around their waist for that day, keep their shorts on for that day. There's a lot of very on-the-fly solutions to that problem. And, I mean, Courtney's very good at figuring out and people management and talking to people. And there will also be work ahead to say, hey, yes, this is a suit that will work for this. And nope, that one's not quite going to work. I need you to, you know, do a different suit. But a lot of the
I would
competitive.
assume that if you have a policy in place and a employee shows up in a suit that doesn't match the policy, you'd probably either ask them to change it or send them home.
Yes, yes.
That's the simple way to
Right.
answer that question.
I mean, I just, when we're talking about lifeguards and we're talking about coverage, I will throw a t-shirt and shorts on them if I need to before I'm short a guard.
Sure.
Safety's my number one concern.
And maybe have, you know, just because of last time, I mean, you don't want to punish new people for,
Right.
you know, but maybe have a suit inspection, you know, 15 or 30 minutes before, so there's time for them to change if they need to, something like that, but.
The only other thing I want to point out on this is a few years back when we did have the bikinis, there was a lot of bullying and stuff that went on that, how come you're in a one piece, you're in a bikini, you'd look good in this, blah, 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 blah. There was a lot of bullying and harassing that went on that year.
As a mother of a daughter who is lifeguarded, it does not matter what they're wearing. People will always speak to them that
No,
way.
but it was the lifeguards doing it to each other. That's what I mean.
Well,
Not-
Courtney and
not
I can
the-
take
not
care
the
of that.
people.
Right.
Not the
Courtney and I
public,
can take
yeah.
care of that.
No, it wasn't the public going back and forth, it was the guards going in.
Yeah, that portion of it does not
Okay.
concern me, because I know that Courtney and I can
That
handle
alluded
that
back
kind
to
of
the management problem
Oh, yeah.
3
Yeah,
years ago.
I understand that too, but I'm just telling you, that was a point back then, that there was a lot of that went on that I heard about every day when I went in there.
And just for discussion, already with new management, we've had an explosion in people applying. They haven't had problems filling the positions, you know, and they're doing amazing things. You guys are doing great. So I'm, you know, of sound mind that they're gonna take care of things as they need to get taken care of. You know, we need to give them the chance to get their foot in the door and have rules that apply that are gonna attract people to work there, but also make it comfortable, not that they're not wanting to quit after 2 weeks.
I'm with you. I think if we give them the autonomy to look at the sand filters, look at every problem that we potentially have, I think that they're able to self-regulate on their dress code. I mean, if we're giving you the autonomy to do it, if that's what you feel is right, I agree. So I'm gonna move to, for the aquatic center and staff dress code policy.
Second.
So motions have been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same
Aye.
sign.
6-2.
Yep.
Motion carries.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Thanks, good job, guys.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to the airport hangar lease update.
What this does is just update the rental rate per square foot. It's the same percentage increase as the last few years, which totals up to about $0.01 per square foot. This is just trying to get them out again for this next year. The last few years were covered by a grant. So this will be the first year in the last few years that the people that own the hangars are paying the city again. So, I mean, we were paid through the grant, but now the individuals will be paying us.
Is this a discussion we've had with them before this got to us? Like, hey, this is what's coming?
Due to it being the same increase, I have not.
Okay.
So they weren't paying before because it was paid through a grant?
Yes,
And so are any of them aware that they're gonna be paying?
they should be, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Was the grant paying for the increase in cost or the entire?
The grant paid for the entire,
Okay.
yep.
I think you ought to talk to them.
Unless they didn't have an airplane, right, in the hangar, was that right?
I don't remember it, okay.
Yeah.
Correct, that's what I thought.
Some
So
of
does
these are
all
like-
these people have
Right.
airplanes in their hangars?
Yeah, I mean,
I do not know that.
There might
Yeah.
be one that doesn't.
And is it the one that has 3 slots?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
They can be used to like build sport planes and things like that. They don't have to have a plane in them, right? They can use them for
There's,
fixing them.
for planes.
Right.
Yeah, but
according
I
to
thought
the-
reading in it, it also stated that they can be,
Working on a
Working.
plane?
Working on a
Yeah,
plane,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
doesn't have to actually store the plane the whole time. It can,
Not farm equipment,
Right,
etc.
Yes,
exactly.
that's why I'm asking, because I know that person typically stores farm equipment in there.
Yeah.
And someplace I read, the FFA says you have to have airplanes in the hangars, or use them for airplanes.
I would have to check out that
I thought I read that
policy just
somewhere.
to make sure.
and do they pay their own electrical and all those things, or does the city pay that and we just recover it through this?
They pay for everything else. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, outlined in the lease, it does state exactly what the hangars are for.
Yeah, as dictated by the FFA, the following uses of the hangars are as follows. I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Some of them old hangars that are missing tin on the roof and stuff like that, are they not fixed yet?
I'm not specifically sure which
I
ones
think
you're.
everything's been fixed up.
I know one just got done.
Yeah.
A little bit ago. Not a little bit ago. A couple weeks ago. Would it be prudent to at least give notice
Yeah.
to these
Yeah.
individuals before we have a
Yeah.
discussion in open meeting?
Yeah, 'cause one of them, I mean, they're talking about almost, $14,000 that they may not have realized that they're,
I would say if they have not realized that, I don't know why they're renting it.
Right.
right, but how long was the grant paying for it?
I think 3 years.
I mean, that could
Yeah,
be-
it is a while.
Yeah, I
Yep.
understand.
Yeah.
Is that something?
Yeah, most of them have been renting for a while, or owning. They sell their lease spaces, I guess I should say. So like some are from 2020, whereas the person from 22 honestly may not. So yeah, we will make sure that they're all updated on it. And so if council were to pass this, we would send out a letter letting them know, and then
So you want us to vote on this tonight?
it's up to you guys. I mean, that is what I would prefer, but it is up to you guys.
Move to approve the airport hangar land lease.
One question before we start. Prior to the 3 years of grant funding, most of these same people were still renting these,
Yes.
paying the lease, so it's not
Correct.
like it's a huge change, that's all.
Yes, yep, and,
Perfect.
1 cent per square foot too.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Somebody already did.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded. All in favor, say aye. Or wait. Is there any further discussion?
Change the date at the bottom of it.
Oh, I guess one question, this is strictly a land lease? But it's not for the structure?
That's what I said, the airport hangar land lease.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's better than a cell tower.
Thank you for catching it.
Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, now we'll move on to ordinance 1944, commons consumption area.
Move to approve ordinance 1944.
Second.
And there's a motion on the floor and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I'd like to thank City Hall for getting the map together so we can see it.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good thing for the community.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, the city will be the applicant for it too.
So we'll go under our insurance.
Yeah, yeah, but it doesn't have.
That's-
Yep,
that's what I
changes.
It doesn't change it any.
So if there's no further discussion, we'll go on to roll call.
Snellings,
Yes.
Barris,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gueracki,
Yes.
Ito.
Motion carries. Now we'll move on to office software quotes.
Tammy, do you want to talk about?
As I wrote in the memo, we were notified by our current software company that the software we're using will no longer be supported after 2026. And they told us that late last year. So at that time, we started exploring other options. Tyler Technologies is who we currently use. We did a demo with their software that they're migrating accounts to. And then we also got in contact with Edmunds GovTech and did a demo with them. Looking at the clerk's listservs, there were other options, but a lot of people were moving away from those other options towards some of these. So those were the only two demos we did. And I think it was the consensus of everybody at City Hall that went through these demos that we liked the Edmunds best. It just had some features that the other one did not. And I think the biggest thing is everything's in one place. One platform, all the programs are integrated into that, and you can connect everything to an address. So it's very easy to pull that up and you can see their utility bill, you can see their code violations, you can see their animal tags, their building permits, everything's in one place. And Will also looked at the code software connected to both of them. The one from Tyler Technologies didn't really do what he was looking for. He wouldn't be able to do as much in the field. It would be more, he would have to come back here and do a lot of that. With Edmunds, he can do that from the field. It's sent back to the office. Any of us can access it and we can print out the letter for him, or when he gets back to the office, he can do that. So our recommendation would be going with the Edmonds.
What was the total from Tyler with all the options that you would need without the ones that they can't offer, and then with Edmonds, everything that, because there's like options you can add on, right?
Correct, yeah, so,
So if we can
Edmund's
just get a
first
total-
year would be, I think it's 71,000.
yeah.
Whereas, yeah, 71,000.
And that's Edmonds,
Yeah, and that's
No,
the
that's
first.
Tyler.
No, that's Edmund's first year.
Oh, Edmonds, okay.
okay?
Yeah, and then it does go down from there. I'm trying to find
And
the
what
sheet.
was Tyler's first year?
Do you mind looking at Tyler and all? Edmund's year 2 and 3 is 35,000 each year.
That was a huge, like, they were giving us a like 60% discount, right? So it was like 180,000 down to 71.
There are different discounts within that, yes. But yeah, year 2 and 3 are both 35,000 for Edmund.
And then what's the yearly maintenance after that? Do you know?
It can go up 4% annually, is what it
But
says
it's,
that.
but it's gonna be the 35,000,
Yes,
okay.
yeah, that's the yearly, whereas the 71 is to migrate everything.
And install and.
Yes, yes.
So do they think that they can convert all of your data that you have now to this platform?
Yes, they believe they
Okay.
can.
Now, the one thing I noticed in the quotes, there's a couple of places where the list price is $1,000 with a 50% discount and the sales price is $1,500.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, a lot of them were.
So there's
So-
at least two of them.
Okay.
And it just stuck out at me because if it's $1,000, it should be, list price should be $500 unless there's 3 units of that, but,
Yeah, under payroll, says list price, $1,000, discount 50%, sales price 1,500, and then under finance, it's on page
Yes.
39.
yes.
First and third
Yep.
option on there.
Page 40's got the same.
And I'm
thing.
sure, I think it's just a typo.
And,
If I was
yes.
looking at this right, but no, it's a good.
That's what I figured too. And yeah, there's some, their utility billing is the same way. But then you get the work orders, it's 22,000 and it's 66% discount and it's $750. So that, that's,
Okay.
yeah.
We will check into those.
Yep.
But the way I feel is if you're more comfortable and you think it will do what you want it to do, that's what we need to do. Because none of us will be running it.
And also, if it makes, Tyler's great, we've been with them, but if they can't offer what we need, then it's time to move on, especially if they're making us get rid of the software altogether.
Right.
If we can add more things, yes, it may cost a little bit more, but it's gonna make the office crew, the inspections and everything, it's gonna make it a lot more economical.
And it's always better if you have all your information in one place so that you can be able to see it and control it.
Move to approve the Edmund quote.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion made and a second. Is there any further discussion? One thing I would ask, just for the public's knowledge, what are we paying for annual maintenance fee or annual subscription on what we have now?
I believe it's around $5,000, but.
$5,000?
Yes,
Okay.
it's very outdated.
Very dated.
Right,
Get what you pay for.
and we budgeted for this?
We were notified after the budget
Okay.
had already been passed.
That's something to keep in mind.
They have offered to break it up over
Yep.
the next 3 years, though, so.
And we'll look at that and try to-
That initial startup cost anyway, so.
Is there any further discussion? If not, I'd ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side.
You go.
Motion carries. Seeing that we don't have any notices or hearings, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
There is none.
There is none.
Oh, there is one.
There is none.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at you.
Sorry, my bad.
You're right, you're good.
Okay, now we'll move on to the presentation of ordinance, appropriations ordinance 3846.
Move to approve appropriations ordinance 3846 in the amount of $360,875.05.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Snellings,
Yes.
Barris,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman, Grom,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurecki,
Yes.
8-0.
We will now move on to the city administrator's report.
Okay. I'm sure, as you guys have noticed, we have been painting the Kester restaurant, or the Charles J.D. Kester house. How do you guys feel about the color? Do you guys
Looks good to
like
me.
seeing the movement on it? Yep,
I saw a picture in the council report
yep.
tonight, but otherwise I haven't been, well, I was by it, but I didn't notice.
I like the lighter color better than I did the dark green, personally.
Okay, yeah.
To
That's just,
improve,
that's just my opinion.
to improve is the change, to perfect is the change often. So,
Yeah, we will continue moving around the building on the upper level. And then, of course, we hope to try to have public come and help us for the porch and for the lower stuff. So, we were notified recently that AT&T is going to be doing some work on the highway near 8th Street, so Highway 36, of course. So we are having some traffic control. They estimate that it'll only be this Wednesday through this Friday. So I do have the traffic control plan with me, if you want to pass it around.
Didn't they do this last
I was
year?
gonna say, and I feel like they were not supposed to have the street closed that long last year.
Yeah, and I remember them leaving like some,
They did that
They left it
last
blocked
year.
off for like 6 months or
well, and
something.
like bricks didn't get put back.
Yeah, they did a lousy
Yeah,
job of repairing it back.
So we will continue working with them. Obviously, we'd like to have been notified a little bit earlier than a couple days before.
Yes, and
feel
then
like
this
this-
is blocked off.
It happened like more in the fall
Yeah.
than the winter time though, so
Yep.
hopefully that will reduce the
So-
longevity project.
Because I know last time, wasn't it a problem with the semis going down Main Street when they couldn't go down the highway because of the width?
I was not here during that time.
Maybe it was 2 years ago when,
I thought last time they closed it off or two. It didn't affect the semis, I don't think, maybe 2
oh
years.
yeah, but you see
Yeah.
the traffic pattern, they got, yeah.
It's upside down, sorry.
And like Lori said, they ended up going down Main Street. Can we somehow filter them to go on the
It's just as easy, yeah, it's just
route
for.
that
I
goes-
believe we do have a truck route.
We do, that's what
So-
I'm saying. Filter them back there,
There's not really a way that we can, like, force them to
yeah.
take the truck route. That's already marked out for them to go on.
But if they're coming down 36,
Yep.
they're not gonna know about the truck route, are they?
Going
Is there any
this way is
signs
fine.
out there? I don't
Coming this way,
remember.
You just be driving
I
through the.
feel like,
If they come from the,
is there not one?
Says truck route.
Yeah.
yeah, if they come from the east,
Especially if it's only
now the
for-
west, I think there's
3
a
days.
sign.
I was gonna say, from the west, I believe there is
You
a
said just
sign.
Wednesday through Friday?
That's what they estimate.
Allegedly.
I was gonna say
Allegedly.
Last
This is
time it was a
allegedly.
long time. At the same place.
Which I appreciate their optimism.
Sorry for derailing the meeting a little bit.
Getting a lot of calls.
Yeah, Mother's Day market is coming up. It is on the 10th and 11th, so please come down to City Park and partake in that, or in the barbecue as well. Go to, I think it's at the Helvering Center. And then also, if anybody is wanting, please get in touch with Wayne about joining the Leadership Book Club. They're having book discussions this week. The book is When Everyone Leads, the Toughest Challenges Get Seen and Solved. So just trying to get you to think a little bit deeper about the problems within your community or your organization or with your team. and just trying to get you to ask the hard questions. So feel free to get in touch with Wayne about trying to join that. And that is all I have.
All right, moving on. Do we have any standing committee reports?
Nothing, we didn't.
I don't think we've had any
Only
since the last
the
meeting.
Youth Advisory Committee. Yep.
And we got the report.
Yep.
Did we, an update on that meeting I told you about for police and fire?
We'll get one set up
Thursday and Friday of next week are the best days.
Thursday and Friday next week. Okay.
I'll be in Arizona. Yeah, she won't be here. And I gotta look at my calendar. So that would be May 8th and 9th?
Yeah. And we can do it the week after that too.
We might have to if she's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Need to see when.
Are you here during the day, Monday through Wednesday, instead of Thursday and Friday?
She's gone. I'm leaving that Tuesday.
You're leaving
I'm
Tuesday,
gone.
okay. So yeah, we'll just have to do it the week after that then.
I know we are also wanting to set up a water and sewer committee to continue talking about some of those proposed ordinances. So we'll have to figure out that day eventually. I know we kind of took a 2-week hiatus, just to try to give residents a little bit of time to digest, especially with the grinder pumps. So we can go ahead and meet, just make sure that we're still recommending it or not recommending it, or if there's any changes that we need to discuss, go ahead and get those in.
I'm good. I'll be gone.
I think Sammy can set it up offline and
Yeah.
and then let everybody know what it is. So I don't think we have any appointments or wage determinations. City attorney is not here tonight. So, does anybody see a need for an executive session? We'll now move on to council comments.
I got nothing. I've noticed people are mowing now, as expected, but they're blowing it in the streets. They just need to be aware that they can't blow it in the streets. Other than that, the yards look nice.
So for the dandelions.
Yeah, that's for the bees.
Nothing. Same as her. I've seen people blowing it in the streets, and I think it's just an education issue but they've been here a year or more, so anyway.
I have nothing.
You ever get in touch with Daniel on the washouts on the lagoons and wetlands?
Yeah, so with the contractor, going out of business, it makes it a bit more difficult.
We always seem to hire them.
Yep.
Like a swimming.
Huh? Yeah, like the swimming, yeah, exactly. So it's our responsibility then?
Like I said, it makes it more difficult. I can continue pursuing stuff. Yep, otherwise we will work on different, methods to try to figure out how to make sure it doesn't continue.
To have our guys put all that time and effort in.
Yep.
Because we got enough other stuff to do without having to go out and repair all this stuff.
But if we don't get it taken care of soon,
It's gonna be,
Yeah, it's really gonna get bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially after we just paid how many millions of dollars for that?
Yep.
That's all I have.
Sorry, guys, you know what I mean?
Oh, Chris.
Okay, tree dump. It says that we had people dumping lumber, but we didn't get any photos. Do we not have enough cameras out there? Or?
We do have, photos of it, but we did not share it in that.
Oh, I actually remember reading in
Yeah,
the council.
it said in there,
It said
we
that
do
you
not
did
have
not-
photos.
Oh, okay, there's been different times. We've caught some people and then we haven't caught some. So the types of cameras that are used are what we have a hunting camera. So, it takes pictures. So if somebody's driving well, I probably shouldn't be saying how to get away.
So,
Yeah,
are the ones?
we are wanting to put out more, though. We are wanting to put
I
out
know the
more.
police department has some mobile ones, or is that the one you're?
We'll want to use other ones in that area, and
Okay.
so that way they're permanently there.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, and then the airport said that, and on the levee, there was like critter holes and stuff. Is there something we can do to prevent them from even coming? Are we looking into that?
I mean, with that large of an area, it does become a little bit harder. But we can continue looking at it.
And then the park vandalism, maybe we need to set up cameras if those big stones keep getting kicked off. Maybe we can get some cameras.
We're looking at a different solution. There is currently, I don't know what to call them, concrete blocks, over at, I believe, Hall Brothers, that we're looking at using instead of the stones.
Oh, so they
So that
can't
way
be
it's
kicked
one
off.
large, yeah,
Okay, all right.
yep.
And then I've gotten several calls yet about that building over on the corner here. Are we gonna, I know we talked about it a couple meetings ago. Are we at the point where we need to condemn it, or?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's nothing on the outside that you can really use for condemnation. And we have no reason, no probable reason to go inside to see if there's a reason inside to condemn it. So, blighted paint isn't necessarily a reason. Now, we could take that through code enforcement and then potentially paint it ourselves, and it would look nice on the outside, but not enough to condemn.
Did we mow it?
I don't think we mowed it this time. I think the contractor mowed it.
I just seen it was mowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody live in it?
No,
No.
no.
That's why
And I do think it's a new contractor this season than what it was last season.
I just seen it got mowed over the weekend.
Last season, it was somebody driving 8 hours just to mow this and another property, just do the contract that they got. So I don't know how far away this contractor is, but I do think it's a different one.
So there are 0 code violations there?
There are code violations, but not for condemnation.
And nothing we can use to get inside to make sure it's safe?
We will continue looking at
Okay.
it, but I don't think there is at this moment.
Okay.
Yep. We have heard things about the inside, but we don't have enough probable cause to go in there. Yep.
Okay. And then last thing, any update on Elm Street?
So I was just gonna ask.
Yep, so they did just do a spraying, like a, I don't know what the proper term is, like a fogging. Do you know what I'm trying to get across?
Treatment.
Yep, a treatment, yep. So they just recently did that. Will is gonna get in contact with them this week to see how that went and see what the next steps moving forward are.
I dropped my kids off at the school right across from there. I noticed their trash is heaping and
Okay.
overflowing again, and
See, and I don't know if they have that contract going or not. We're not.
It's like it every Monday.
okay. Just wanna make sure.
Yep,
we're
no, I
keeping
just
it
had that
safe.
conversation today to make sure I was updated on it.
That's it, guys, sorry.
Will and I met at Lakeview and discussed some alternative solutions for shedding some water that doesn't require quite as large of sums that we've discussed in the past, but we're waiting for some more information. Having Jeff Shell come up and take a look at flow and that sort of thing, but I will eventually ask for a Parks and Rec when that time comes, but it'll be probably a couple weeks by the next meeting. Hopefully have a little bit more info, but that's all I have.
All right, thank you, everyone. Is there any other further discussion or any business that we need to bring before the council?
Move to adjourn. Second.
Motion's been made. Second, is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.